Good morning, this is Peter Marmorek, and I'll be reading your morning announcements. Coming to Neighborhood, Neighborhood remembers. You can join a photo and a text to create a memorial wall of congregants and loved ones who have passed. Details will be in the Monday mailing. A reminder to upgrade Zoom, to choose your themed breakout room. That means to choose which breakout room you're in, you need version 5.4 or better. It's a free upgrade on all platforms. On Monday, between 7 and 8:30, there's a Spirit Song Circle, Widening the Lens, songs that delve into our monthly theme. You can join in or you can lead songs yourself. Sunday, November 29th, next Sunday, Zoom in on poverty. At 3:30, faith leaders from our multi-hub and the Danforth Islamic Center join to share teachings and learnings about ending poverty, hunger, and homelessness. Ongoing at Neighborhood, a reminder, and this applies of course to everyone, get yourself the free app for your smartphone, and it protects both your privacy and your health. On Wednesday, November 25th, there are conscious movement classes from 10:15 till 11:30 in the morning, led by Phyllis Danu. The links will be in our Monday mailings. Wednesday evenings from 7:30 to 8:30, there's meditation with Reverend Wayne and Jillian. That's for beginners and intermediates. Wednesdays and Thursdays, you can help fight poverty by preparing sandwiches. That's led by the Sandwich Sisters. It's supported by C, our Social and Environmental Action Committee, and you can see Susanne for details. Next Sunday, the 28th of November, between 9 and 9:30, come to the Child Caregiver program with Zach on Zoom in our regular Sunday Zoom space. Planning for Christmas, you can buy a Christmas tree and support Out of the Cold. It's on sale at our new building at Jackman and Danforth. You can see Susanne or Dina for details. There's a singing meditation this Thursday, December 3rd, between 7 and 8:30 p.m. at night. Join Fred Maycock, Phyllis Danu, and Susanne Maziarz in meditation chants and songs, and connect to each other and the divine within and around us. All are welcome, no experience necessary. Songs are taught by ear. If you want more information on that, just contact Susanne, music@nuuc.ca. The Social and Environmental Action Committee is having a meeting today at 3 p.m. to continue sharing ways we can promote social and climate justice together with our new interfaith partners. And we have an there's a Zoom meeting, Zooming in on Poverty, a multi-faith discussion, Sunday, November 29th, between 3:30 and 5 p.m. There's a Zoom meeting address there with the details, and those will be repeated in our Monday mailings. There are Advent boxes, and I will hand over to Reverend Debra for a deeper explanation of what they are and how you can get yours.
For those of you who may not know what Advent is a time of preparation for the coming of the Christ into the world. And normally we have a number of activities happening through Advent, and we will again this year. This one is a new initiative on the part of our congregation, because we are not meeting in person and having our special Advent activities happening for our children in person. We thought we would create Advent boxes that have all kinds of activities, including an Advent calendar for children aged 5 to 15 and their families. So we'd like to know if you want one. We're going to be putting them together in the coming week. They're lovely, they're engaging, and we're hopeful that they will help bring all of us together into the season. We're also creating a devotional booklet that's full of poetry, beautiful poetry and prayers in the spirit of the season. So anyone that would like to have one of those, let us know. Your faith committee is sponsoring this activity. So you can order those boxes through the Faith Committee. The link will be in the East End Weekly, and just click on the box and let us know that you'd like to receive a box or a devotional, and we'll make sure you get one or the other. Thank you.
Please look, this applies for neighborhood folks, for a survey in your email this week about how you're doing during the pandemic. What are your needs and concerns? And how do you feel about when and how we return to in-person gatherings? We need to keep looking after each other through this time, and your responses will help staff and volunteers plan on how to do that. Next Sunday, the theme is Buy Nothing Day. The message of inspiration will be delivered by Jillian Heggie, and the music will be by Susanne and her friends. Good morning and welcome. I'm Peter Marmorek, the face behind the voice behind the announcements, and I'll be your service leader today from my home. It's my pleasure to greet two congregations today, my own Neighbourhood Unitarian Universalist congregation and our guest, the East End United congregation. We have 10 people, a lot of people, bringing you today's service. Neighborhood's musical director, Susanne Maziarz, is in East End United. East End United's musical director, Hilary Donaldson, and their musical leader, Scott Pietrangelo, are at home. Our minister is the Reverend Wayne Walder, who is live streaming for the first time in our newly renovated space at 310 Danforth, and the Reverend Debra Schneider of East End United is at home. Zach Getchell facilitates our Sunday Child and Caregiver program and will share a time for all ages from home. Gordon Thorne is choreographing our Zoom feed and sweeping the spotlight from one person to another, and Ruth Langtree is cutting and pasting what we need to see in the chat window. Thank you to all of them. And thank you to you for being here or virtually here. East End United has been at their location for 110 years now, and we're excited to be joining them, both in that physical space and in the range of spiritual and political actions in the world that we're all beginning to shape together. Some Zoom etiquette. Just remember to stay muted, keep the chat open for readings and lyrics, and don't send chat messages to everyone during the service. I should mention this service is being recorded for the public, both on YouTube and on our new website. Joys and concerns or similar personal moments will be edited out. But if you have further privacy concerns, you can always turn off your own camera so that you're not seen and rename yourself. And now, Reverend Debra will take us over the threshold.
Good morning. I want to thank the leadership and members of Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation for welcoming Hilary, Scott, me, and the East End United Regional Ministry congregation to join with you in your service this morning. On behalf of the leadership of both congregations, I welcome each of you who has gathered with us as we seek to stay emotionally and spiritually close in these times when we need to be keeping physically apart. No matter who you are, no matter where life's journey has taken you, I welcome each and every one of you who has gathered with us as we join together in this time of worship. I trust that you will feel enriched and enlivened through this time set apart as sacred, comforting, inspiring, and empowering. Sacred space and cyberspace are strange bedfellows, and we need your help to bring them together. I encourage you to shut off any other apps that might distract you or to put your other devices on Do Not Disturb and simply to be present for this time of gathering together. Now, as we begin, as we enter into this sacred time, I invite you to take a moment to simply arrive and be present, to settle in and just let go of any thoughts or distractions about what you need to be doing this afternoon or tomorrow or next week, and just be here. Feel the support of the chair beneath you, the earth beneath your feet. Breathe deeply in the spirit of this gathering. Be attentive and be fully present. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. This is our threshold moment. Let us enter sacred space. Let us enter sacred time together. As we light our chalice, I encourage you to light your own personal chalice or candle, or consider holding your hands in the shape of a chalice, like so. And I invite Susanne, as we light our own chalices or hold our hands in the shape of a chalice, to light the chalice for us this morning for our gathering.
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts.
Susanne, can you introduce the prelude?
I would love to, Peter. This morning, we are going to be singing together for our prelude, Peace Prayer Mandala. The Peace Prayer Mandala takes sacred texts of 5 different faith traditions and blends them together in beautiful harmony. You will get to choose which of the 5 texts you would like to chant through the prelude, as Hilary from East End United and I teach each of those to you. There will be one from Buddhism, from Islam, from Judaism, from Hinduism, and Christianity.
Good morning, friends. I hope everyone can hear me. Just let me know if no, and it's such a delight to be joining you this morning. We're so grateful for the hospitality of NUUC to share this morning with us. And I'm delighted, as always, to share in musical leadership with Susanne. So I've been invited to begin with the Buddhist part of this song, which goes Om Mani Padme Hung. I'll say that one more time. Om Mani.
I'm not getting any sound.
Susanne, can you hear me? Oh, why am I muted? Or am I?
No, you're okay.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Om Mani Padme Hung. So I'll just remind myself of our key. Om. That line goes like this. And there's no direct English translation for this, but it's a prayerful phrase. Om Mani Padme Hung. Om Mani Padme Hung. That's it. Just keep trying that. Om Mani Padme Hung. Om Mani Padme Hung.
Thanks, Hilary. The second chant comes from Islam. La ilaha illallahu. There is only one God. There is only one divine. La ilaha illallahu. And the tune sounds like this. We'll do it a couple times together. La ilaha illallahu. La ilaha illallahu. La ilaha illallahu.
From Judaism, simply the word shalom, which means peace. And it's quite straightforward. Shalom. Shalom. Once more for good measure. Shalom. Beautifully sung, I can tell.
From Hinduism, Shanti Shanti, peace, peace. Shanti
from Christianity in Latin, Gloria in excelsis Deo, meaning glory to God in the highest. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. So two different lines for that one. Here it comes again. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Once more. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo.
And I invite you all to bring your voices together in sacred harmony as we sing. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, Shalom.
If that's how beautiful the sound is from two people, imagine if all 101, 102 people that we now have together were able to sing together. Today, though, almost all of us are in our own homes, in isolation or in lockdown. While we celebrate that in our new home, we share space with East End United, the lockdown forces both congregations to not be in that space on Danforth. That is hard for us, but consider for a moment how much harder it is for those whose land and territories our congregations are on. The Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Mississauga, the Haudenosaunee, and the Ojibwe Chippewa nations. They've been in lockdown, unable to freely access their own land for over 200 years. I don't think I need to name the virus that forced them off their land. But as we consider how to care for our community, let us draw a circle wide enough to include Indigenous people within that community. Many of you are visiting us today for the first time, and we welcome you. Please stay around after the service. when you'll be placed into breakout rooms of 5 or 6 people, and the two communities will have a chance to talk about who we both are and what we do. We generally gather in informal small groups for about half an hour following our service, and everyone is invited to join us. Our mission at Neighbourhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of the world. Our November theme is Widening the Lens. Today's theme is Community Care. As I looked up and learned about the history of the United Church, I was struck by the parallels between our two communities. Foremost, how both offer a wide tent and have a range of different beliefs that they accommodate. Both denominations, the United Church and Unitarian Universalists, were founded by different denominations looking beyond those differences and joining together. Both were early adopters in widening the lens to include LGBT people, first as congregants and later as ministers. Both are working to correct the historical wrongs done to Indigenous nations. Both congregations, at our best, embody one of my favorite adages about religions, the great Chinese saying, "There are many paths up the mountain, but the view from the top is the same." At our best, we put our energy towards the ascent rather than to arguing why my path is better than your path or trying to push people off the mountain because they're on the wrong path. I end this morning's welcome with a brief poem about community written by Edwin Markham, who was a Methodist, one of the groups that founded the United Church. But I first came across this poem at South Peel Unitarian Universalist, where it always headed their weekly order of service. So the poem itself links our two traditions. It's called Outwitted. He drew a circle that shut me out, heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle and took him in. Traditionally, at this time in the service, we turned to our neighbors and greeted them. Instead, briefly unmute your device, go to gallery view and offer a greeting to those around you. We'll sound a chime to end. But now take a moment to greet your neighbors.
Yay!
Go, everybody.
Hi,
everyone.
Hi.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. Oh, it's nice to see everybody.
Hello, Julian.
Morning.
Hi, Dmitry.
Hi there. Good to see you folks.
Hello, cousin Fred.
Hey, Peter.
I am. Aw.
Thank you, Peter, for that warm welcome to us. And it's such a delight to see everyone on Zoom, see all your faces and hear all your voices. And I mean, if we can't be there, boy, that's the next best thing. So thank you for including us in this experience and in your way in gathering in worship this day. So I invite you all to join me in reading our opening words, which will appear on your screen. If you're on a phone, follow my words, and for some of you, memory will fill in the rest. Let us cast a circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here, a place of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, a life of creative intelligence, a place of life in spirit for ourselves and for our families.
And now, as we hold this place open to grace and insight, please join Hilary for our opening song, A Dedication. Hilary, over to you.
Thank you so much. This song, I believe, will be new to most people in our East End United community, but I think it's well known among neighborhood. It's not well known among neighborhood friends, so it's my delight to teach it to you today.
Brand new song.
Brand new song. That's so great. So the main line is, "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace." I believe if you wish to see the lyrics, you'll see them in the chat. "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace." For me, this line calls to mind, paraphrases a phrase that's familiar from the book of Joshua in the Hebrew scripture, but it's also such a universal blessing for peace and togetherness. And I invite you, if you see in the chat, we'll move from "you'll find us serving peace" into "you'll find us serving truth, you'll find us serving love." And if you'd like to put your own word in the chat, I'll try to choose a couple of them, and we can also do that verse as well. I'm sure we won't get to all of them, but I would love to hear what some things you'd like to bring to this song are. And then it's whatever the word is, for all right now, as in peace for all right now. And I see Rebecca, change for all right now. Thank you for that. And let me sing you the melody to begin with. So we've got, we'll start with peace. "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. Peace for all right now." Just to give you a sense, I hope you'll be throwing in harmonies at home. Here's what the harmony sounds like, so you can make up things that go along with it. So it goes like this. "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. Peace for all right now." Some of you either know it or are very into it. I'm so glad. And then we would do, "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving truth," or whatever word we're doing. You can make up harmonies. "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving truth." Basses can do little, "Me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. Peace for all right now." As you can tell, I should have been born a bass. Can't wait for the next life so I get my chance. So I invite you please to sing with me. I'm just going to do a little percussion, and we'll put in our different words. I'll let you know what they are as they come. As we end, it's, "Let's speak the truth to all right now. Let there be peace for all right now." That's why you see those lyrics in there. So I hope you'll be singing along with me at home so that I can hear and sense you and all the beautiful harmonies we're making from afar. "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving peace. Peace for all right now." Truth. "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving truth. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving truth. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving truth. Truth for all right now." Doug, let's do love. "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving love. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving love. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving love. Love for all right now." Let's look for change. "As for me and my house, you'll find us serving change. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving change. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving change. Change for all right now." joy. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving joy. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving joy. As for me and my house, you'll find us serving joy. Joy for all right now. Let's speak the truth to all right now. Let there be peace for all right now.
Now, all the young and young at heart, please come up and get close to the screen because Zach is going to tell you a story. Zach, over to you.
Good morning, everybody, and a very special welcome to all of our friends from East End United who are joining us today. For those of you newly joining us, my name is Zachary Getchell, and I'm the facilitator of the Child Caregiver program here at NUUC. We're talking today about communities. Specifically, we're talking about how we can build a community together. Well, to be honest, I think the only way we can build a community is together, because that's the thing about community. You can't have one or make one alone, because that's not what a community is. Something I like to do before I feel like I can say what something is or isn't is to look up exactly what it means. That way it's fresh in my head. And when I did that with community, I got a few different answers. One definition said that community was a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. Well, we may not be living in the same place, but we'll definitely be worshiping in the same place. And while our faiths may be slightly different, we do share a common spirituality. My favorite definition, though, was a lot simpler than that. It called community a unified body of individuals. And that's my hope for our new community, a unified body of individuals. To that end, in our children's program this morning, we were also talking about community. We talked about how communities could be built and what sort of things they would need to be built. And we had some great offerings from kids from both of our congregations. They said that in order to build a community, we need to be welcoming. We need to have openness for new people and ideas, and we need to be willing to help each other. Well, between then and now, our young ones have been off making things about or related to what they offered in our program. I've asked those willing to come forward and share their offerings with you. Friends, if you could raise your Zoom hands now or ask your caregivers to help you, we'll get you all spotlighted up here with me and you can show everyone the stuff you've made. There's one. And
There's someone in chat.
there's someone in chat. Dodie, okay, let me just get you highlighted there. Jessica, add spotlight, there you go. So that's two of our families, and then there was one more, and it was a new one from EEU's congregation. Aramis, I don't see your hand up in the participants menu. If you could put your hand up in the participants menu, we'll be able to get you spotlighted immediately. And if not, I will do one final go through of the videos and see if I can find you while my other friends are getting us started. Dodie, you've already got what you've made right there. So would you want to unmute and show us all what you've made?
I made this.
And what is this?
I made a house. It takes many hands to build a community.
It takes many hands to build a community.
That's Papa, that's Yuhi, that's Mama, and me.
That is wonderful. Thank you very much for making that, Dodie. I really appreciate it. And thank you for coming to show everybody.
Welcome. Welcome.
Yuhi, since you're there and already unmuted, would you like to share with us what you've made?
He made nothing.
You made nothing? Okay.
They made it together.
Yeah, that makes sense. In that case, Cameron, would you like to show us what you've made?
Hold on. I was unmuting. There you go.
Well, this is a drawing with like a few houses, 2 houses in one, and my thing about community is like it's basically about letting people in who you
Letting people in.
love and know.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So your drawing there is letting people into the houses?
Yeah.
That's excellent.
That's a
Thank you
great
so much
drawing.
for sharing that with us, Cameron.
You're welcome. So you can
And
put that in there.
if you are still here, Aramis, I'm very sorry. I cannot find you in the videos, in the other screens that I'm seeing. And oh, there you are. Haha. Whoops. Hi, Aramis. Would you like to show us what you've made for community?
Yeah. This is my mom and this is myself. We are going for a walk and I run my name top here with the sky.
That is excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us. I love the fact that your community taking a community walk. That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And there you have it, everybody. A young community that's starting to grow. Thank you, my friends, for coming and sharing, and thank you all for listening.
And thank you, Zach, and thank you, young people. It takes many hands to make a community, and community is about letting people in. Those are 2 lines we could live by. Unitarian scriptural readings come from a wide variety of sources. As I thought about community care, I remembered a Talmudic story Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told me about 1900 years ago. 3 people were traveling in a boat. One of them took a drill and began to drill a hole beneath himself. His companion said to him, "Why are you doing this?" The man answered, "What concern is it of yours? Aren't I just drilling below my own place?" And they said to him, "But you will flood the boat for everyone." The rabbis told this story to emphasize that we are all one community in the same boat, and we need to work together to heal this broken world. Because of time concerns and putting together a service for 2 communities takes longer than 1, we move now to the message of inspiration with Wayne. Wayne?
Thank you, East End, for joining our community today for a shared worship service. And thank you, neighborhood people, for hosting this morning. Hopefully members from both congregations will attend the breakout rooms after the service, so we'll get to know each other a little bit. I suggest saying hello and sharing something about you, nothing more. We know so little about each other and there is so much to learn and new friends to make. The breakout room is only 30 minutes long too. The good people from East End, we thought, might want to know a little bit about who Unitarian Universalists are. So I thought I'd give you a 1-minute description. We Unitarian Universalists began as Christians more than 400 years ago in Europe. We were part of the Protestant Reformation. Then 250 years ago, around 1850, we started bringing scriptures in from Buddhism, from Islam, and from Hinduism to our services. Before long, we imagined that Moses and Buddha and Krishna and Mohammed were prophets similar to Jesus. This caused controversy, though, in the Christian community, and the very conservative Council of Christian Churches rejected us and asked us to leave the council. In 1914, they claimed we were not Christians. They pushed us into becoming a more multi-faith community across North America. In other parts of the world, we are still very Christian, but here in Canada and in the US, we are now multi-faith communities. And that's our 1-minute history. I mention this because the building of community requires familiarity. You need to kind of know who you're partnering with. It's always good to know who you're working with, and we can learn a lot about each other over time. It's not only familiarity that builds community, it's also sharing common interests. There are communities for political parties and ethical positions. There are communities for bicycle riding and hunger relief. But those of us who come to spiritual and religious community, I believe, have a special meaning for the building of community. I think we come because we are interested in building a better world. A better world for ourselves, of course, but also for each other and the greater world around us. We want to get the most from our precious lives, and we hope by intentionally caring for each other, we can achieve a better world for us all. This requires that we believe in some important ideas and ideals. And I would be willing to bet that everyone from East End and everyone from Neighbourhood believes this list of some qualities. Take a look at the list. Being charitable toward others is a good idea, and being compassionate helps us realize the essence of what being human means. Forgiveness and reconciliation help us reclaim friendship and connection. Spreading hope inspires us, and sharing hospitality heals us. Practicing humility opens us. Advocating for justice reminds us that we are all human. And showing tolerance and acceptance helps us build relationships. These qualities or spiritual skills don't happen by accident. We need to learn them, and they require reflection and practice. And we don't learn them easily either. We often fail at them, and I'm speaking about myself as well. Yet if we spiritual and religious people are willing to hang in there long enough, we learn how to live these qualities. We learn how to become these qualities. And learning how to become these qualities is something very special in a human life. Now, you might not know, but we've already started taking baby steps together as communities toward these qualities. Our common interests and ethics align enough to sing together for a common cause. You can see our members in this picture, even in the rain. And then when we walked together and sang for the sleighings on Danforth 2 years ago, here we are in solidarity for the end of hunger, walking from the mosque to East End. You can see another picture here where we spoke together, Rabbi Miriam and I, the Imam, and the minister here at East End. Here we are again. And we're going to be doing that on Friday, on this coming Sunday as well, sometimes with political figures and sometimes without. Our social action committees are talking and volunteering from Neighbourhood and from East End together already. Several of us were at the Out of the Cold program the last couple Sundays. Maybe one day we can imagine a sign for the building that speaks about the connections as a result of our deepening conversations. Maybe the sign could say something like this. I'm just brainstorming, of course. We welcome people of all backgrounds and beliefs. We'll be known as a community where people respect and value one another. We're a community whose members care about each other and are ready to lend a helping hand. I mean, blue sky it. Imagine it big above the doors at the Jackman entrance for all to see. Imagine it has all our logos on it. What would you think about the people inside this building if you saw that sign? How might a shared belief influence each of our communities? And if those communities could have that idea woven into our shared culture, how might that influence everyone who not only walked by, but who came into the building, even if only a visitor. I mean, blue skied a bit more. Imagine a big sign in the front of the building saying, "We care for all people. Join us as we learn how to do it better." I'm asking you to imagine signs only as a symbol or a milestone of how we might define ourselves as we grow together. And we're not there yet. But slowly, as we get to know one another and define ourselves, both together and separately, we can share our values with each other and the greater community. I know what a huge undertaking that is. I also know how much energy it takes. I helped build the neighborhood congregation from scratch with about 8 others. I know how risky building community can be. Conflict is a part of it. I say that because I'm currently part of a personal conflict. I've experienced conflict among our board of directors, and presently Neighborhood is working through a conflict with a larger Unitarian congregation. It's not easy to commit to a community when we know that there will be challenging times. And we've all been involved in a conflict, even if those others were part of our extended family. Community can breed conflict just as easily as it can breed delight. And the pain of struggle with those you care for or thought you cared for is agony. It would deter anyone but the most courageous. Most people avoid even the potential for struggle. So why bother? East End, why did you ask us to make our home with you? And Neighborhood, why did we accept? Why would we bring faith communities together knowing that it's difficult? If I was with you in person, I would ask you to shout out why you bother to be in community when we all know that it's not easy. Maybe if you could write in the chat if you have some ideas about why you want to be part of community, extending the community, modeling the community. And as I read a couple, I guess we come to community to feel love. Maybe to let our guard down, to enrich lives, for a refuge, to learn about other perspectives, for compassion. Together we're stronger, to feel the divine, to learn to be a better me and you, for a larger voice for justice and to help others. We need a new home and to set an example in it, to dance together because we're stronger as one and many. So we can do more about justice. Growing community expands our spiritual practice. It cures loneliness. United we stand. These are all your words. And they give us hope to stand together rather than alone. So with great respect, as one of the leaders of our community, I invite us to build a connection between us and among us, carefully and slowly. Let's learn about each other. Let's share some meals. Let's visit and talk like friends. Let's work in the world together, caring for this building, then for each other, and then for that aspect of the world that we can touch. This process of slowly growing together is theologically consistent with both our faith communities. We can do it by practicing through our excellent practices in each of them. We already know that community often enhances our individuality, and our individuality helps make our community creative and strong. We need them both. We need our individuals and we need our togetherness. Then as time goes on, let's put some important signs up. Things we believe, we can put them on the building, of course, but it would be wonderful to put the signs of caring, of affection, and of support on our faces as well. Together, let's consciously model outwardly what we all believe inwardly. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Wayne. As the final Jewish saying puts it, from your mouth to God's ear. We are together today and we are separated today, but the work of our communities goes on. We heard earlier today that it takes many hands to make a community, but it also needs the power of the financial fuel that you offer us through your donations. We can't pass a basket, but we deeply appreciate that so many people have offered online contributions in a variety of ways: checks, e-transfers, PayPals, spectacularly through the silent auction, or through weekly deductions. When we contribute to the life of our community, we affirm our lives within it. And it's easy to do online. I've set up these URLs, but I have to test them out. And now I have regular deductions being made from my account. So I can assure you from personal experience that the system works. You just go to tinyurl.com/EEU giving or tinyurl.com NUUC giving. And I'm sure that no one would object should you choose to go to both of them. Susanne will now play the offertory music, Our World is One World, so that you have ample time to make note of the link or links, both on screen and in the chat. Thank you for your time. Susanne? And now I invite Scott to extinguish our chalice and lead us in the song.
Although our chalice may be darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts.
In the past, and I hope in the future, Neighborhood has a tradition of circling around and holding each other's hands. Instead, we do a Y, putting our hands together, bowing our heads, and saying Namaste. It's a Sanskrit word that means I salute the spirit within you. So I ask you to put your Zoom screen on gallery view so you can see everyone. Unmute yourself so that you can hear everyone. And together, let us say Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all.
Namaste.
Miigwech.
Now, thank you, Kim. And now for our closing blessing, I sweep the spotlight over to Reverend Debra.
It can be hard in this time of encroaching winter as the days grow shorter and the nights grow longer. In this time of pandemic, when we try to be together, even though apart. In this time when so many in our world are crying out for justice, for healing, and for hope. And it is in the midst of such a time that we as congregations have chosen to take on the additional work of coming together to create a broader community, to do the work, to build relationship, to live into our visions for a better world. And so I invite you to hear this blessing written from Irish poet and priest John O'Donoghue as we engage this work together in joy. Now is the time for each one of you to be gracious, to allow a kindness beyond thought and pain. Reach out with sure hands. Take the chalice of your love and carry it carefully through this echoless waste until this winter pilgrimage leads you toward the gateway to spring. Amen.
Thank you so much for that, Reverend Debra, and thank you to all of you, over 100 people who were here today for our service. So our service has ended. In a minute, Gordon will be breaking folks up into breakout rooms, smaller, more personal groups in which we can chat. If you have the most recent version of Zoom, you can choose your own breakout room, or you can just go and come back to the main room, or you can just leave, as some people do. It's the equivalent of coffee hour, even if we can't yet offer you coffee through the computer. For those of you who do not wish to join a breakout room, thank you for joining us. The question today to consider in the breakout room is, who are you? Introduce yourself to the new friends. And how are you doing? Breakout rooms will begin shortly. Go in peace and in community.